Ladies and gentlemen, Barry C here with another cryptocurrency video, and we are so close to the biggest crypto bull run we've ever seen. At the end of 2024 and early 2025 is going to be massive, euphoric, and life-changing for everybody in crypto. It's going to be incredible. Now, ladies and gents, I want to talk to you about some very basic crypto mindset stuff that I think a lot of people who haven't been through a bull run before haven't considered. And I see a lot of the same questions being asked. And for those of you who say, oh, Barry, your videos, you're talking about a lot of the same things. The reason why I'm discussing these things now is that these are the same mistakes I'm seeing people make constantly. They are the same questions that I'm seeing all the time. And one of the big questions I'm seeing from people is, will the upcoming election affect the bull run? And the simple answer is no, it absolutely won't. Now, the reason I'm saying this is the last two bull runs have proven that it doesn't matter what's happening in this political realm. It doesn't really affect crypto. The bull run happens no matter what. Now, if you look at 2016, we had Trump elected to office, and that didn't affect the bull run in 2017 or early 2018. Trump left office, and that didn't affect 2020 or 2021's bull run. We've had arguably quite tumultuous and volatile political decisions, and they have in no way affected the bull run. And ladies and gents, the thing to understand is that as long as we have Bitcoin halving events, we're going to have post-halving bull runs. And as long as we have those bull runs, we're going to have a post-bull run bear market. Crypto works on a 4-year cycle. No matter what anyone else tells you, they're wrong. Some of them maybe don't know any better. Some of them are engagement farming. Some of them are outright lying. Crypto exists on a 4-year cycle. It doesn't mean that certain cryptos don't pop off throughout that 4-year bear market. It happens, but realistically, it's a 4-year cycle. And no outside events realistically impact that. The only thing that would directly impact the 4-year cycle and cause the bull run to stop or have issues would be if there was a worldwide ban on cryptocurrencies. And that's not going to happen. Too many people are invested, too many institutions are getting in, there's too much money at play. The innovation of blockchain technology being adopted into different sectors and industries is already happening. It's not going to stop. And ladies and gents, within the scope of that idea of outside political influences having no direct impact on the bull run, we also see a lot of people discussing this idea of XRP never moving in price. And there's a lot of frustration around XRP. And once again, that is just factually inaccurate. If you were to be a bit more frustrated about it, you could even say, hey, that's an outright lie. That's a lot more dramatic than saying that it's factually inaccurate. But I would argue quite a few people just outright lie for whatever reason they don't like XRP. And this leads me into my next point. When it comes to XRP specifically, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, ignore the extreme positives and ignore the extreme negatives, because both are just as damaging. Now, when it comes to the extreme negatives, these are people who are pushing these negative narratives or FUD, and this directly impacts people. You see people posting this idea that XRP will never move in price, XRP won't have a bull run. They bring up the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit having this extreme detrimental effect on XRP, and a variety of other things, whether it's negative engagement farming, whether it's spreading FUD, whatever the reason being. This impacts people because it creates this uncertainty. And what happens, and this happened in 2020 and 2021, and it happened a little bit in 2017 as well. People pick up on these negative narratives, and it creates that uncertainty, and people sideline themselves. And what ends up happening is they either panic when XRP starts moving and they FOMO in, they buy at the top, or they get to the end of the bull run, realize that they've been lied to, and now they have to wait 4 years until they find that success with crypto when they can finally make some profits. And 4 years is a lot of time as punishment for making that mistake, for listening to those so-called experts. And you also have to consider the people who buy the top because they FOMO in. That's also very devastating, because once you pull the trigger and you finally go, yes, I'm ready, I want to buy some, let's say XRP, for example. Well, now that you're in, well, now you're ready for your 100x. And what people don't realize is that once XRP starts skyrocketing, you're not going to get another 100x on top of the existing price movement. And this is when people get frustrated, they get holding fatigue, and any type of positivity they felt towards XRP now sours and turns into negativity. And this is what I've been calling the 4-year mistake, and I see it every bull run. And it always starts with that uncertainty and not trusting your gut. Now, when it comes to ignoring the extreme positives, these extreme positives are just as damaging and just as dangerous as the negative ones. And what I mean by the extreme positives is typically when people put out these ridiculous, outlandish prices or time frame scenarios. We saw this in 2018 and 2019 when people were talking about the XRP buyback scenario, and people honestly believed that there was a possibility that the government would buy back XRP for like $30,000 a coin. And you also see people, especially when the bull runs start kicking in, especially some of these influencers out there, they'll start putting out these things of like XRP is going to go to 10,000 by next week or some other high price point in a month. And people overextend themselves because they think, well, I can put in exorbitant amounts of money because I'm going to make 10 times, 100 times that in less than a month. And especially when people were earlier into crypto in 2018, 2019, there was a lot more trust in a lot of these influencers because there wasn't as much information available to people to educate themselves. A lot of the information was behind these gigantic paywalls, whether you were paying for a crypto newsletter, whether it was a paid Telegram group, paid Facebook groups, whatever it may be. And people were desperately trying to build their knowledge so they could make these educated guesses and change their lives of crypto. And unfortunately, what they would do is they'd over-leverage themselves. So they would put in so much money because they felt that in a month, maybe 2 months, they were going to see these amazing returns. And it didn't end up happening for them. And then that, once again, takes that extreme positivity and it sours it, and people become negative and they blame the cryptocurrency. And unfortunately, what people don't realize is that the majority of crypto exists on that 4-year cycle. And that's why I'm making this content right now. Because I've been in crypto since 2016. I have seen how these negative and positive narratives cause a lot of frustration, a lot of confusion, a lot of damage. And it's really sad to see, because a lot of people get to the end of the bull run. They realize what they could have achieved, what they could have done if they just had better information. And ladies and gents, of course, none of this is financial advice. It's just my perspective, especially because we are so close to the bull run. So I would suggest, it's not advice, just a suggestion, it's what I'm doing. Ignore the extreme negatives, ignore the extreme positives. Focus on why you're accumulating XRP in the first place. Focus on where you think XRP could potentially go. Have a conservative plan. Have a crazy plan. And just focus on what your plan is and stick to it. Because realistically, we are all here because we want to change our lives, the lives of our loved ones, the lives of our family for the better. That's why we're taking an educated risk and an educated gamble on digital assets. And for me, when I look at XRP and when I look at this upcoming bull run, I'm extremely excited because I think we're going to see explosive price movement a lot sooner than people anticipate. And if you don't have a plan, you're going to get to the end of this bull run and realize you've made a big mistake. And unfortunately, it's going to take another 4 years for that next bull run to come around. So ladies and gents, if you want to have that edge when it comes to crypto and you don't want to make that 4-year mistake, consider becoming a patron. Click the link in the description below. You can head across to my Patreon page and consider becoming a Barry C VIP. For $20 a month, you can have access to my crypto portfolios, as well as my buy, sell, and take profit signals in real time. And if you've enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing.